here's my review of Obsession. This movie really does live up to the hype. This is probably the first movie in a long time that I've seen where I watched it and I genuinely felt like uncomfortable. In a good way, of course. But when I was sitting there in the theater, there were a lot of many times where I was like, oh God. Like, whether I was like sickened or like secondhand embarrassment or just scared, it all was just with this uneasy feeling. But that's what a great horror movie should do. Where we follow this man named Bear who is in love with this girl named Nikki Friedman, where he is obsessed with her. Hence the name. And he finds these weird little wishing sticks in some random store or whatever. And so he finally uses them to get this girl who he's in love with, Nikki, to fall in love with him. And it really is just this thing where it's first, it almost feels like this fantasy, but it quickly does like just derail and slowly gets darker and darker. And it's really Indy's performance that she is just so good in this movie, where she just genuinely makes you uncomfortable. And that's what this movie is. This movie is an uncomfortable, unsettling movie. And I think that it really shows like just a great look at just like the loneliness of our main character and how far he's willing to go, and how it's a classic monkey's paw tale where be careful what you wish for. And it's just every scene with Nikki is just disturbing and uncomfortable, from the way she talks to the way she acts, just her smile. It's just crazy. There's this scene at a party where she just laughs, and then she just keeps laughing after everyone else has stopped in this weird, uncomfortable way. And when I was watching, my whole theater was kind of just like silent, and like you could almost feel the awkwardness from the movie. And that's what this movie does. It makes you uncomfortable. And I feel like not many horror movies do that. Like, I feel like very, very rarely is it where I watch a horror movie where it's not like super scary, but it's more just like I don't really feel good watch. I'm enjoying it, but I'm like, this is just like, oh wow, like, this is uncomfortable. It's really hard to explain if you haven't seen the movie. I feel like if you have seen it, you'll know what I mean, because just the awkwardness and just the obsession that Nikki has over Bear is just, it's just crazy. And there are a lot of great cinematic shots in this movie that also are just really creepy. Like when he first makes the wish and then she immediately comes out of her house, and you just see her silhouette just standing there. And you're like, oh God, that's weird. That's creepy. It's really just like, and the fact that this movie was so cheap to make, it just looks great. Like I said, there's so many great shots like this. But as I keep saying, it really is Indy's performance as Nikki that is just fantastic, and that really carries this movie. And there are just moments in this, like, where over the course of the movie, whether like they're living together, and then she just like tapes up everything just to keep him stay, and then he's like, well, I gotta go to work. I was like, oh, okay, I'll be waiting for you. When will you be back? It's just an uncomfortable movie that really just leads you, like, when you leave the theater and when you're done watching this movie, you almost feel like, oh, I need like a drink of water. I need to just watch something else. It's just rare that I watch a movie like that. And this movie does have some gore and violence, but that's not really the selling point. That's not really what makes it scary. That stuff is fun, for sure, but it's really just the tone and the atmosphere that makes it so great. This is a movie where I kind of don't really want to go into that many more details with it, just because I really think that you need to watch it for yourself, because it does such a good job of creating this uncomfortable atmosphere, creating this, in many ways, sympathetic character. Like, you feel his loneliness even though you don't agree with what he's doing. but at the same time, just making you uncomfortable, making you uneasy. And that's what this movie is. And I will say, like, from the way this movie also ends on just like this dark tone, and it just makes you sick. I I really liked it. It was really good. I will say I don't really think that this is my favorite movie of the year, although I think it's definitely in my top 10. Although I do genuinely think that this is definitely the scariest movie of the year. It's definitely the creepiest movie of the year. And it really just all comes down to the performances because it feels so real and yet so alien. Like you're watching the way how Nikki acts and you're like, oh, she does seem just like a really creepy, weird person and real person, but at the same time you're like, this feels so unrealistic. And it's just that like clashing that just makes it work. So I don't really want to go into like as much more because I really do think that like I highly recommend if you like horror, you gotta watch this movie. It's definitely the creepiest movie of the year, in my opinion. Probably not my like I said, not my favorite movie of the year, but just a really good movie. And like I said, I normally don't really review movies this late, at least on my TikTok. But this movie was so good and so unsettling. I just have to talk about it. I finally have to like had to see it. And yeah, it really does live up to the hype. It really is creepy. Go watch it. It's good.